Welcome to Payment Agenda. In this special episode from IGB in Amsterdam, we sat down with representatives from the gambling sector, payment service providers, and acquirers to discuss the most pressing challenges and exciting opportunities in the industry. Enjoy.
Okay, so my name is Serghei. I'm working for GBL-Factory. I'm at the PSP team leader. My job is basically finding new solutions and as APMs and CC, and arrange the cascading service using Corefy.
First, Orbital is the management company of the group of businesses focused on the online entertainment sector, specifically in iGaming and related products and services. Me as a CFO, I work closely with CEO and other executives to drive business growth.
My company is called Payments Lab. Payments Lab, we help merchants, we help PSPs, we help acquirers to manage higher risk industries and verticals. Basically, for merchants, that means better strategies to sustainably manage their acquiring desires. That includes risk management, but also mid-management and a steady relationship with the banks. For PSPs and acquirers, that means getting reliable merchants and ensuring that their risks are controlled by somebody they trust. Me in this case. Payments Lab is a relatively small organization. I'm the founder, I run it, and we have 3 extra employees that help me out on a day-to-day basis.
Our company called Spoynt, we started it 3 years ago in May 21. Now today we are a licensed company. We do payment processing and we work with e-commerce worldwide, and we support today different payment methods, different currencies, lots of countries, lots of continents. And I personally founded Spoynt. Today I'm CEO, and our team members, they are located from different countries, and that helps us to understand better the payment experience in different countries and be involved in that payment life.
My name is Vladislav. I'm representing PXP Financial. We are a bank acquirer licensed in 3 main markets: European Union, UK and USA. We also are members of Visa, MasterCard, Discover and Diners. Out of our licenses and acquiring solution, we are offering a gateway solution and aggregation for local and alternative payment methods.
So the company name is KUNA. KUNA is a Ukrainian crypto exchange. We started about 10 years ago. For the last 2 years, we spread our business for the 2 directions. One is the crypto exchange itself, and another one is our B2B products, especially oriented on the crypto banking solutions. And my role in the company is the high-risk part of these products. I'm responsible for the business development.
Yeah, I've been in payments personally for almost 6 years now. Payments Lab is a bit younger, I would say 2.5, but the company has been incorporated a couple of years ago.
In general, in payments, like in fintech industry, like 14 or 15 years, something like that. All of my professional life, I work in fintech industry, and I started my career being a student in the university, and I started in a fintech industry, and from that day, I work only in this industry, and I like it. I like it very much because it helps you to understand the issues, the professional life of different companies. Because nowadays you can have absolutely different business vertical, but all of them are connected to the digital, to online, and every one of them they need online payments.
I'm the second year in that industry, and what I most like here, it's new daily challenges. Why? Because based on my position, I have an access to the multiple businesses which are inside of our oversight. And basically what is very interesting that I am not just the typical CFO as the CFO in most of the companies. I am the business development manager and the CFO, most business development manager, because I'm launching with my teams new businesses. I'm in a cooperation with our investors team and the CEO growing up the new businesses. So it's like from scratch, it's from business model up to hiring team, up to developing the new solutions, new market entrants, trying to be in front in one step from our competitors.
I'm in payments not so long time ago, about 7.5 years. Enjoying my time at PXP for 1.5 years, coming from the same sales, about 14 years. But fintech, I founded myself in fintech, and that's what I do enjoy, meeting so many nice and great technical people, and not only, working and focused on building the relationship with PSPs and merchant directly.
How connected everybody are. So everybody knows everybody. So that's kind of insane. So the connections, the friends that we make, and how everybody is so friendly. So how they like, okay, let's solve something, let's do something, let's do it better, and so on and so forth.
But the main thing that I was surprised and liked in this industry, that this is not about like payments. This is about like a relationship with the people you work with, that you are not doing only payments, you are like helping them to increase the quality of their business and make their business better and prosper, and help them develop worldwide.
It's all about relationships, so it's important to have a good rep, I would guess, with everybody around here.
Truly surprising me are people, to be honest, right? All the people which are meeting and how they're dealing with things, how they are working, and all the innovations which are bringing. Because I do think that still under the all technical and all the payments and all the fintech stays people which are bringing that knowledge, which are bringing the products, which are bringing the relationships, and working together they can really create some nice, great products.
I guess the most surprising thing for me is that people talk different languages while they still speak English. You say a word to a person from an acquirer, it means completely different thing to him than it means to let's say a gaming operator. And I guess my work and where the business is booming is where you try to make the two worlds meet, make them understand each other, make sure nothing happens besides that.
The key challenge within the gambling industry and the market overheating and working with the regulators, since we focus only on the regulated market.
The main challenge is the regulation. Each year the regulations are becoming more and more strict in each country. This is obvious because the market, the industry is not standing at the same point as it's standing now. Every year, every month, the industry develops, and also the customers, the end users, they develop as well. There's like a risk of fraud, of money laundering, etc., that may come from the end users, and in that case, gambling business struggles, and they at the same point they need more time to fight against this fraud, and the government also takes a part in this fight, and that's why they regulate in more strict way this business. But the regulations are made in they are strict, but they are smart, and they do not bring destruction for this business. They understand that this is business, and they need to make this business to life, develop, and to make it possible to create and develop such conferences, summits as an IGB, where we are today, and make the people connect, know each other, exchange the experience. So yeah, the main issue is the regulation and the fraud, of course. And because of this fraud, money laundering, etc., the regulation becomes strict.
If we are offering only one product, like for example, casino games inside of one of the market, and we are delivering only that kind of entertainment, so we are done if the regulation become more strictly, and it will become more complicated for the players just to play, to use our games, to use our payments providers and so on. And for sure, yes, the retention rate will be worse and worse day to day, and it will be impact to our profitability and the operational cycle. But what we are doing, we are developing multiple products. It's not we are now working on some different products with which are combined, like the classical games, the betting, the sweepstakes model, and so on. So we are, let's say, trying to spread our risks and to attract more and more customers, which they can use the numerous method of the payments and interaction with us, which are, let's say, reduce their risks and make us profitable and more stable on the market, so comparable to our competitors.
For the emerging markets, as like historically, international payment systems did not expand to those markets deeply. The market developed itself. Alternative payment methods become more popular, and even today, when like international payment systems like Visa, MasterCard expands to specific emerging market and making some discounts, bonuses with the banks, acquirers, etc., still they cannot get the same of the market share as they have in like developed markets. Still, alternative payment methods, they have much more share in this market because people got used to use these payment methods, bank transfers, wallet payments, etc. So for emerging markets, alternative payment methods are top, and even like we are getting requests from our clients mostly for the alternative payment methods in every emerging market. So they are not interested in working with Visa, MasterCard in that market because alternative payment methods are faster and cheaper. And of course, end users are more familiar with that method than with Visa, MasterCard. And also the last thing, why alternative payment method? Because Visa, MasterCard is about the connection with a bank acquirer and with the issuer bank. And in this case, the technical platform may be not like up to date or like in a cutting edge technologies. So the approval ratio may be lower because of like some technical issues on the issuer banks or the acquirer banks, etc. Because it's not so like good developed in emerging markets than alternative payment methods.
For the last few years, I do see a trend that payments are changing, and they're changing a lot. They're going in the direction of alternative payment methods and local payment methods, or let's say local cards also, wallets, mobile payments, like QR codes, and many others. So let's bring an example, like Pix in Brazil brought a big change in the market and brought the ability to so many people to make a payment, whether it will be a gambling website or it will be some e-commerce or a reseller, which it's pretty impactful on the life of that people. The same it's happening in European Union, where everyone is used to use a card as Visa, MasterCard, but also like Germany went with Europay, which is a great thing or ideal in Netherlands. And there are so many others which I do think they will still bring, and they will make a big change on our lives. The same as Google Pay. I don't imagine my life not using Google Pay or Apple Pay nowadays, like going on a train and pay with a phone. I don't use anymore my wallet. I just have a card with who I can pay in any country, and pretty quick, pretty easy, without big problems. And that's great, that's awesome.
When we're talking especially about the crypto, according to my analytics, I see that first of all, the crypto volume is overall on the market is grows from year to year. When we're talking about the high-risk merchants, especially from the iGaming industry, I see that now the overall volume of the crypto transaction is about 10% among all the transactions for the gaming industry, but the trend is to grow these numbers from year to year. So we still see the very big perspective in this market as well. Yeah.
First of all, we are analyzing the key, let's say, the key players on the market. And what we are doing, we are analyzing MDR, we are analyzing the initial cost to set up, to make the first integration. Of course, exit and termination. But acceptance rate, for sure, it should be the first in our checklist. Then the rolling reserve and the relationship between us and the payments provider, it's also the significant factor for us. As well, monthly payments and the payments by different type of the payments method. I mean like ACH payments, cards. For example, if we are talking about US markets, it's completely different comparable to European Union market or LATAM countries. And for sure the relationship between us and the payments processor, because we want that we should be heard by them. So if we have some problems, if we have some threats, it should be resolved timely, accuracy, and we should continue our business not as the, let's say, clients and the company. We should be the partners, and we are treating payments processors as our partners, because when we are successful, when we are growing up our business, they are growing up their business with us together. So it should be the win-win deal.
There are 5 criteria. First of all, the pricing, how trustworthy is the provider, the acceptance rate of the solution, so how it's easy for the user to complete the transaction, and the flow of the solution. The price is actually not the most important. If the acceptance rate is very high and the solution offers a good flow for the client and has a good acceptance rate, we will go with it.
So first of all, it's reliability of the payments process between our customer and us. So it's host-to-host integration with the payment system. It's additional measures to protect the, let's say, the payments flow from the customer to our platform. And basically, it's a trust. The key is a trust between us and customer, which has helped to enhance the delivery of the services for the both sides. For us, it's payments. For them, it's their services.
So if you come up with a new PSP and maybe you like the terms, it's always a matter of trust. We've had in the industry multiple cases of the big name banks going bust. We've had cases of merchants doing some unthinkable things and getting fined consequently. And so there's a lot of rumors out of that, and obviously everybody's looking for himself, herself, and they're very reluctant in the first stages to get things going. So when I find myself in a position where I need to have a certain bank and a certain merchant start working together, and they're good in principle on paper, everything works out, everything's neat and tidy, there still needs to be somebody who kind of delivers the trust in the initial stages, and that's usually me.
So from this perspective, being, let's say, trying to be a merchant now and looking at what I will choose in another acquiring, then for sure the first thing it will be the relationship which I can build with that acquiring, with that people. Who is that person? Second, it will be, of course, the smoothest of onboarding, quality of the customer service, the technical part, which I do think it's also very important. And maybe not the last thing will be the way and the path what we can do together in few years. And of course, not at least, the innovation. So you can innovate and bring more products, more service to the merchant. And merchant, of course, will be growing with you together.
This is what I like the most in this industry, that you have to be on top of these innovations, be the first one who meet the new regulations and bring new payment methods, solutions, and also be the first who optimize the pricing of the same solutions. It is hard to face it all, but if you want to work in this business, stay like in a good business shape and be attractive, be interesting for the merchants, it's your obligation. You have to do that. And of course, as you have already the clients, the merchants, the business partners, in order to keep processing the same volumes, keep being the same like top priority payment partner, you need to be the first one who will come to your client and tell him like, hey, look, here's the new payment method. We have statistics, we have analytics, that this is the new, the next big thing. And it's better for you, for your clients, to use this payment method. And let us help you to implement, involve, and train your support even to help the end users with this payment method. So like, it's all about the communication, and first of all, like communication with the end users who do the payments. If you implement new payment method, but nobody is trained, nobody understands how it works, users will not use that payment method or payment solution. And you will not have enough volume or good approval ratio, etc. So like, it's about experience and sharing this experience with your clients and instructing them, explaining them how it works and helping them implement these methods, these solutions in their platform, in their business.
There are two types of providers. One type basically that has an old solution and they cannot make any adjustments to it. And that's not the best partnership, because it's hard to keep intact with the market if they don't change anything. And the other ones are like, I don't know if they're like new or and they are open to ideas, or they're just constantly working on it. But some providers offer the solutions like, for example, we need something, and it takes one, and they give basically a deadline. Okay, we need 2 weeks to get a ETA for this service, and after that they give us an update. Okay, so this service will be developed in 1 or 2 months. Is that okay? And we say yes, and because it's 1 or 2 months, it's like a nice time to develop. Making new integrations and arranging new providers is very important for us. We strive to find the best provider and not just stick with the one that we got at the beginning. We always are looking for providers with better service, better customer service, better prices, and try to find a better bond between them.
I do believe that the most challenging part of this question is the good orchestration system, because we should be very fast in terms of the using the multiple payment solution for the one businesses, especially if we are in tier 1 market. So, and we should have at least, based on my opinion, 5 up to 7 different methods for each country, because it will help us to resolve to making the switch between of them.
Look, first of all, for us, it's not the issue and not the problem, because we have reliable partner, Corefy. So we are working for the long time. It's more about, I don't know, 8 years we are together. So Corefy holding all issues related to the fiat payments. We can also very easy, add the new payment methods into the system using the Corefy capabilities. So all this question is especially on the Corefy side, and we are very happy to have such partner on board.
From an acquirer perspective, any gateway integration, any third-party integration, a new integration, that's something what we need. That will give us a great opportunity to onboard faster, to offer a better customer service, and a time can kill a deal. So having an integration with a third party, with an aggregator or with a gateway which is used by so many merchants, you need to have. This way, it's opening the doors to so many different merchants. They will know also you, because that's another marketing. And as I mentioned, that the quickest way to get them live, it will be just on the KYC stage. So the technical stage, it will be resolved.
Orchestration is not something new. It's something that's required in this day and age for any reliable payment strategy. All the basics, routing rules, cascading, for anybody who's considering them at least middle-sized merchants, that's a necessity. Right now, they want to have ability to be flexible. They need to adapt to the changing behaviors of users, issuers, acquires some time on weekly, sometimes even daily basis. If you look at the huge merchants, they already have thousands of people working on these simple tasks, simply managing the data, managing the performance.
We actually developed a special tool that allows us to change cascading pretty fast. This is basically due to the fact that often we might change the cascading up to 3 or 4 times a week. So it depends basically on how many solutions we got and how many solutions we need to implement. Also, we're analyzing the acceptance rates of each solution individually, and they're basically split into solutions by network and by geolocation. So often if we see that a provider is not performing that well or stop dropping the performance, we usually instantly need to replace it to keep the traffic on the same level. This is very important, so we can change from 1 to 2 times a week and up to 6 times a week.
For somebody who's doing tens of millions per month, it's still a very important task at hand. It's important to have a tool that's reliable, so in many cases it doesn't make sense to build anything too complex internally. Use something that's already tested in the industry that's reliable. Also have some flexibility in terms of getting new channels, putting new integrations in there. So ideally when I approach these customers, I don't want to deal with the situation where they take months upon months to integrate some new solution. I like to put them on our solution through Corefy and have that integration either ready or a couple of weeks from being there. And then the tools are very useful and known to us quite well. So it's just easy to onboard new specialists on our side and show to the merchants how to use it. So yeah, I would say orchestration is essential.
One of the things about the best partner that we have offer stability. So their solutions are always on time, the support is always there. And the down, even if there is some issues, it don't last more than a few hours. So this is one of the key things, so stability. Second one, keeping in touch. So it's best to have at least a meeting 1 or 2 times a month to keep intact about if they have some updates, if we have some updates, if we need anything, if they need anything, and keep in touch about it.
I would say the key principle that is determinant to success between these two is predictability. So as a PSP or an acquirer straight away, PayFac in some cases, what you want predictable traffic in terms of transactions, meaning volumes that you can put in a business plan for the quarter. That means predictable chargebacks. Every business has a natural level of chargebacks, but if you get traffic from some sources, it could be higher. So what they strive for is predictability. Obviously, there are some cases where things need to change, and that's where the second principle is important. It's transparency. So if, as a merchant, you know that something's going to change for the better or for the worse. You need to be very open with your partner. You need to be able to communicate, find a solution that accommodates you both. If it's something good, amazing. If it's something bad, let them help you go through it together.
Honesty. The one and the main thing is the honesty, especially in a high-risk industry. Again, we are working with the money. We are processing payments. We are taking responsibility. When we process the payment, we are taking responsibility on ourselves in transferring this amount of money, settling them to the merchant. And if you are doing is not good or your words differentiates from what you are doing, then you will the trust to you, to your company will decrease. And that's why, for me, the first thing is the honesty that affects to your reputation on the market. Fintech market is a big market, but at the same time is not so big because everyone knows everyone. The bad news, the information about the companies who are not honest or making some scams, etc., it shares as a speed of the light. This is the main thing that you need to do, and this is what the merchants will use the most. Even more than the price. They can pay more, but it will be okay for them. They will sleep well, knowing that tomorrow the money will be on their bank account.
Success in payments could be called a marathon. could be called a sprint for some. In my opinion, it's a good balance between the two. Don't negate one for the other.